So this story begins at a time when the world was ruled by gods, spirits, and sorcerers. The last demon lord was Leonis Death Magnus, who ruled over the entire Necregio capital. But then a fierce battle broke out. To stop the Demon King's terror, 6 heroes entered his capital. All of the Demon King's generals were taken down by these heroes. Seeing the audacity of 2 Cody heroes and even ant-like humans standing against him, the demon lord is infuriated, and he stands ready to burn everyone in the fire of his darkness. But the demon lord's servants try to stop him because he's the last demon lord alive. His army has almost lost this war, and the goddess and the deaconess would not like to see him weakened like this. Leonis also remembers the promise he made to the goddess and the deaconess Roselia. This time he's accepting defeat, but he's the undead king. After 1,000 years, he will rise again and reclaim his demon lord's throne. And with this, the reign of demon lord Leonis ends. Now the story takes a 1,000-year hiatus. This is the era of modern science and technology. 2 girls come to investigate a ruined area which had been hidden from the public for many years and has been revealed to the public due to an earthquake. We hear from these girls about something called the Void. They have come to investigate whether there is a nest of the Void here. Well, by now it has reached the 7th floor underground, and so far they haven't seen anything magical. These girls have gilding earrings in their ears, which are used to report to the head court. We later learn that Voids are a kind of creature that builds its nest in such ruins. While exploring the ruins, they find completely burned statues of many years old. It was easy to guess that this used to be a king's palace. They then find a huge door, and some magical waves were still coming from it. There was something written on the box in an unknown language, and perhaps current technology is not capable of decoding it. Both of them split up to investigate the place. The white-haired girl, whose name was Celia, felt as if she had seen this language somewhere before. As soon as she touched the door opened automatically. Celia was startled, but suddenly the place automatically lit up. There was a huge crystal in front of her, and she sees someone trapped inside her. For some unknown reason, the device on her belt stops working. The sleeping demon lord Leonis remembers the day he made a promise to Roselia that after 1,000 years his powers would manifest in the form of a human child, and Leonis would have to find her. This conversation between them was before the wedding. Therefore, Leonis was ready to sacrifice his necklace to keep his promise. With this promise, Roselia goes far away from Leonis. Now in the present, Leonis's eyes are wide open. Celia is trying to break the crystal that contained the demon lord Kai. He uses a language spell to decipher the girl's language. Leonis begins to believe she is a thief and decides to sentence her to death. The crystal was actually a magical barrier, and he shatters it completely. Celia falls down from the impact and cannot get up for some.
Leonis is amazed by Celia's beauty. She was more beautiful than an elf, but with such a demon, he can't go back on his word, and now he has to kill Celia. Just then, Celia opens her eyes and asks, "Child, what are you doing here?" Leonis sees that he's been transformed into a girl. Had the reincarnation ritual failed? He has returned to his former form when he was known as Leonis the hero. Celia asks him how he got trapped in the crystal. Celia's childlike hormones begin to rise. Thinking Leonis is scared, she hugs him. Leonis also says that such behavior with a demon lord like him is not befitting of a person. But even that person falls asleep after resting his head on such soft pillows. Now, some time later, Celia gives Leonis something to eat. In his previous form, Leonis did not enjoy food. He calls his human body completely useless because this body had fainted due to hunger. And what a shame for a demon lord. What was even more shameful was the way Celia was sucking him. Our demon lord Leonis was enjoying it. Anyway, Leonis also understood that this girl was trying to save him. Celia tells Leonis her full name, Riselia Ray Crystalia. She is a Swartz woman and is training at the 7 Swartz Garden Excalibur Academy. Celia is 15 years old. She thought Leonis was safe, so he takes advantage of this and introduces himself as 10 years old. Celia starts thinking about the name Leonis Magnus. Leonis confidently thinks that his name must have been taught to everyone from generation to generation to inspire the legions about how dangerous the demon lord was. But Celia doesn't know about it for a moment and calls his name cute. Celia starts thinking that Leonis must have been kidnapped here by the Voids. She is surprised that Louis doesn't know about the Void. Meanwhile, Regina also finds something and draws her weapon. Voids first appeared among humans 64 years ago. To this day, humans have failed to understand what they are and what they want. Many theories suggest that Voids come from another world. When Leonis learns that Voids appear in very old ruins, she remembers that she didn't ask the most important question. What year is it according to the Holy God calendar? Leonis guesses it must be 1447. Celia doesn't understand the Holy God calendar thing. She tells him that according to the human calendar, it's 64. Just then, the whole place suddenly starts shaking. Regina reports that a vole has been seen here. To protect Leonis, she covers him and promises to protect him. Leonis feels a strange sensation. Perhaps his male hormones are flaring up. Breaking the Chizu, an ogre-class void appears in front of them. Even Celia's attacks were having no effect on it. Leonis decides to finish it off with his one attack, but the poor thing gets caught in the trap of a child wearing a 6 times bigger weapon than his size and falls into
The ogre had already attacked them. Just then, Regina defeats the ogre with her strength and weapons. The first thing Regina asks him is who this child is. She says that this child is currently under her protection, and she'll explain all the rebel things later. Regina calls her weapon Holy Swat and orders it to change form. Regina also sees Lunas and wonders if it's magic. Well, even after such a powerful attack, the ogre was still standing. Lunas was also a little surprised. Cilia didn't have any weapons, so Regina tells her to get out of here immediately. For Lunas' safety, she turns back and starts running away with him. Nothing is going according to plan for our poor demon lord. His reincarnation magic failed, and now he's trapped in a human body. The place has changed so much that he's wondering how he'll restore his kind. And to further his dismay, these insect-like creatures, the Voids, have taken over his castle. Now suddenly, a small crystal grows in his path. We learn that these crystals actually take the form of Void. This Void was even more powerful than the previous Voids. Cilia tells Lunas to run away immediately and draws her sword to face him herself. We see that Cilia, unlike Regina, doesn't have any special weapons. Lunas thinks he should show off his strength. Killing this demon is beyond her power. But just as our demon king is about to use magic, Cilia pushes him back to protect him from the demon's attack. She herself is attacked and severely injured. Even as she lay dying, she was thinking of Lunas. Lunas was still with her. She pleads with him to run away. She tells him to find Regina. She will take her to a safe place outside. She apologizes in her softest words for not being able to protect her. Lunas, deeply saddened, says how foolish she was. She thought he wouldn't survive the attack, so she gave herself up. We see Lunas's past when he was human. He was close to death when Roselia saved him and asked him to come with her. Lunas was surrounded by many similar powers and voids. They attack him continuously, but none can break his shield. Lunas was very angry. He takes out his demon lord and praises Cilia, saying that she was very brave and he too had started liking her. He spared her life so that he could get information. Lunas gives a brutal death to all the voids. Now after the body of the voids on whom he had attacked with flame blast gets burnt, he sees that his bones are safe. This had never happened before. In this body, Lunas's magic has become much weaker than before. Although Lunas is a demon lord and the life of a human being does not matter to him, but Cilia risked her life to save his life. Lunas does not have any healing magic, but he had a spell which he uses on Cilia. Due to that spell, Cilia's blood starts going back inside her. Her eyes turn red, a seal was formed on her feet. Lunas has done something about which Cilia will definitely be angry when she comes to know. On the other hand, Regina also came and defeated that void. She tries to contact Cilia, but Cilia is unable to give her any answer. Lunas was close to her and was trying to understand this device. As soon as Cilia regains consciousness, she hugs Lunas and tells her that she is absolutely fine. Lunas is surprised that she is worrying about him more than herself.
Cilia looks at his wounds and wonders how he is still alive. Leonis tells Jude that he used healing magic. Cilia gets confused. Leonis is surprised that how can these people not know about magic? Do these people depend only on advanced technology? Cilia asks him if this is like holy sword power. Now here poor Leonis did not know about this. Cilia tells him that there are some books in her academy which claim to have a holy sword which gives healing powers. Leonis asks what holy sword is. Holy sword is a kind of power which was awakened within humans to fight against the whites. When the whites first appeared, such children also started appearing in front of people. There were powers hidden within them. Most of the powers take the form of weapons, hence they came to be known as holy sword. Regina also has the drag hollow holy sword. They haven't learned much about the holy sword yet, but it's been observed that weapons depend on the user's personality. Cilia hasn't found her holy sword yet, so she relies on her magical device. Regina, searching for them, reaches them and seeing the situation asks them if they too encountered White. Cilia remembers and asks Leonish what happened to White. He says that he was scared and closed his eyes, but when he opened his eyes, they were all gone. Now after leaving that place, they start taking Leonish with them. On the way, we come to know that Regina is actually Cilia's maid. On the way, Leonish was watching Regina's jumping balloon. Seeing such actions of a 10-year-old girl, she says that he was growing up faster than his age. Due to the ongoing fighting outside, there were frequent hunger strikes which were threatening the people. Cilia says that when she gets her holy sword, they were telling her to go to war. But the situation outside is getting worse day by day. Cilia also starts to panic. Her father, her mother, her sister, all were fighting in this war. She also wanted to help them by fighting in this war. She tells Regina that her family has never lost and that everything will be fine outside. After this long battle, everyone is released. Third Assault Garden was completely destroyed in the war. Perhaps only 15 people survived, including Mrs. Regina and Cilia. The 1,000 swordsmen who fought in the battle have all been killed. Cilia breaks down and apologizes to Regina for telling her she was sorry. She said everything was fine outside. Now the story comes back to the present. They were on the bridge connecting 7 sword gardens where they live, and she asks, how so much could have been built on such a big island? Actually, this is not an island. It can be called a very big ship. It can be moved from one place to another in the sea. Cilia reports to Hades about the presence of holy sword near Leonis. Regina is also impressed after hearing this. Cilia also shows her injury which Leonis had healed. Regina found Louis among the people who had fled from the war. When the whites attacked, many people were forced to flee the battlefield. Finding them is also one of our missions. From today onwards, Leonis will stay in Excalibur Academy. Regina goes out shopping for Ashachi's food. Cilia asks Leonis to go through the other door because he's new here, and Cilia goes towards the exit on the other side. Leonis's mind was going crazy. All his plans
plans were failing, he had to rebuild his demon army and destroy humanity from its roots. But now humans have progressed more than ever, and now these monsters like the Whites have also started appearing. The worst thing that has happened to him is that he has become a child. He calls his two servants Blackass and Sari. After 1,000 years, they are also meeting their lord, but Blackass also questions what happened to his body. He tells them about the reincarnation failure and how he has returned to his old human form. Blackass is also seeing the hero Leonis the Brave for the first time. Their first meeting actually took place after Leonis became the demon lord. Sari finds this form of Leonis very cute, and we see his face, which is blushing. Leonis thought she was joking and she apologizes for it. Leonis tells them about this artificial island made by humans and how they call it 7, meaning there will be 6 more islands as big as this one. Humans have changed a lot in today's time as compared to the past. To prepare their demon army, they will have to recognize the power of humans. So Leonis asks them to gather information about the city, and he also forbids them from using magic.
Because people these days have forgotten magic. But Leonis is going to this school among human soldiers because this child is very delicate. He needs food, clothes and shelter. Leonis is going to stay here. Shelly puffs her lips out because she used to go to take care of her cute Time Lord. Anyway, now Leonis gives them back the wet towel and goes through the door where Leonis was about to be caught because he was magical, but he hid his magic just in time. Leonis finds his ID and Celia takes his photo so she can book him a seat for the Holy Sword examination. This examination was going to be a problem for Leonis as he had to write about his Holy Sword powers during registration. While taking the hoster, Celia shows Leonis around the academy. On the way, Leonis notices that despite being on the front line, the people there are much more peaceful. This is because the Holy Swords are spread all over the front line and they'll never let any void enter here. After arriving at Excalibur Academy, Celia shows Leonis the city's military center. Everyone is surprised to see it for the first time, but Celia didn't see the same reaction on Leonis' face, but it was actually a surprise as she had never seen anything so big in her time. Now Celia shows Leonis the various facilities of the academy, like the great library, classes and all sorts of things. Now many of these were things Leonis had never heard of. Now as she starts showing Leonis the place where her exam is tomorrow, suddenly something happens to Celia and she falls to her knees. She says she's fine, she'll rest and then return to training to get her holy sword from Chalde. Leonis thinks to himself that she is absolutely right. It's pointless for a girl without a holy sword to be here. They're both wandering around the academy and Leonis overhears the girl saying that a boy like her will become the next demon lord. Surprised, Leonis convinces himself that these girls don't know his identity. It's just a coincidence. By the way, they are currently in the girls section of the academy. Just then another student from the same academy arrives offering her accommodation. Seeing him, Celia's mood also sours. This man's name is Mijhail. He taunts her about today's mission, saying how she's brought disrepute to her family. Sijil, unwilling to be fooled, tries to leave with Leonis, but Mijhail blocks her way and says, "Hey baby, you're getting married." He asks who this little girl is you're carrying around, to which he replies, "What do you want, my love?" To save his minuscule salary, he starts laughing and says, "You can't do anything, just babysitting." Mijhail offers Celia to join his platoon. She needn't be afraid. He won't kick her out. After all, she is a descendant of holy swordsmen. Even if she never finds her holy sword, that's fine. She doesn't need to go on any mission. She can always make him happy by being with him. Mijhail's ex-girlfriends were also girls. Perhaps some kind of manipulation magic has been performed on all of them, and perhaps this is the speciality of Mijhail's holy sword. Celia rejects his offer and starts walking away with Leonis. Mijhail's ego gets hurt and he starts pulling Celia by her hair. Now Leonis has got into an argument. As soon as he exchanges a glance with her, Mijhail's legs twitch. He falls on Leonis' knees.
He whispers into her ears, "From today on, if you even touch her beautiful hair with your eyes." Mijhail immediately retreats and summons his holy sword. But before the fight can begin, a woman intervenes. She scolds Mijhail, saying that using holy sword for oneself is prohibited. And more importantly, what is he doing in the girl's area? Does he think he's a girl? Mijhail runs away in a hurry. Leonis thinks he was in the mood to fight, but would he ruin my life? This girl's name is Alfie, and she's heard about Leonis, who was found in a ruin. Leonis looks at his ball, Choki, his holy sword. Alfie is in charge of intelligence analysis for Celia's platoon. She tells Celia about a costume she's arranged for her. She apologizes for not being able to go with her on the mission today because she has a lot of work. They've tried a lot, but they haven't been able to find out much about her yet. Alfie was explaining more about this when suddenly Celia began to faint. By evening, they reached their dorm. Leonis said that this dorm was very different from the others they had seen on the way. Celia's dorm was a bit old school. Actually, dorms are assigned based on a platoon's performance. They went to Regina's room, but the poor girl had already fallen asleep. Actually, the use of holy sword knocks the user out instantly. This is an old building, so none of the rooms here are locked. Leonis claims that there's no problem if he stays here as a boy. Leonis is still a child, so there's no problem. She shows him the bathroom and tells him to freshen up. While Leonis is getting ready to take a bath, Celia asks Leonis something. Can he join her platoon after his holy sword exams are over? Leonis sneezes upon hearing this. Celia gets flustered and says that he should take a bath first, then we'll talk. While bathing, Leonis wondered if the hot water was coming there by magic. While he was soaping his hair, Celia naked came up behind him and said that soap should not be used on hair. Leonis was at a loss as to what he should do. Where should he look? She started shampooing his hair on her own. Leonis thought to himself that the people here were quite open-minded. Now Celia brought up the same thing to Leonis. It's Leonis' choice to choose which platoon to join. The healing holy sword is extremely valuable, so even high-ranks platoon team will try to take it. He has no reason to choose Celia's platoon. He confronts, asks why she's throwing herself into battle. She doesn't have the holy sword, so she can't protect anyone. She refuses. She doesn't want people protecting her. She wants to fight her own battles. Before she could finish speaking, Celia falls unconscious again. Leonis revives the magic in her legs. Celia's eyes turned red again. Leonis picks her up and lets her suck
suck his blood. Celia regains consciousness. Then Leonis tells Celia the truth. He doesn't have a healing holy sword. In fact, it can't even resurrect the dead. In fact, Ristelia has already been killed. From here, the story flashes back 2 years into the past. Celia was pushing herself to the limit to awaken her holy sword. She always trained with swords. She learned swordsmanship from her sister.
She was sure that her holy weapon would be a sword. Regina wanted to transform Celia, but suddenly all the machines shut down automatically. It was the Mughal who had come to teach Celia. Why are you working hard for something you can't do? Why do you need to train? Come to my platoon. I told you the benefit. Regina intervenes and pulls out her holy weapon. The Mughal is stunned and he flees. Regina tells Celia, when you awaken your holy weapon, you'll defeat people like him in no time. Celia tensely says she doesn't need a holy weapon for this. The story returns to the present. Celia is regaining consciousness. As soon as she regains consciousness, Leone tells her first that he brought her here with his magic. He hasn't touched or seen her. Celia asks him who he is. He says he's an ancient magician and this is his new life. In his time, humans also used magic. Using that magic, he has transformed his life as a vessel and become the vampire queen, one of the most powerful undead. Yesterday, she was feeling unwell due to a lack of magic, so she was sucking Leonis's blood. This is common when magic starts to wane. Celia asks him they had gone to save their people, but none of them could return. Rokina and he survived because they were in the shelter. Excalibur Academy had high hopes from her family that once again a capable holy swordsman would emerge from their family. That's why Celia wants to awaken her holy swords as soon as possible so that she can fight. This was the reason why she always dances in the desert, but this is probably not enough for Celia. Then suddenly Leonis's stomach starts rumbling. Actually, he hasn't eaten anything since yesterday. We see Leonis's uniform outside the room and it's probably the uniform Alfie was talking about yesterday. They both come to the canteen. Celia hasn't felt hungry, probably because she's eaten a vamp. And besides bread, Leonis has never seen so much to eat. To which Celia points out that one bread isn't enough for nutrition, to which Leonis replies it's not enough for an undead like you. It's a total shock. After all, this entire restaurant could be bought with this gold coin, but in reality he finds out that gold coins have no value these days, and in fact magic force silver is more valuable these days. Leonis is in a very bad state. The gold he had spent for his army is worthless today. Now in the same restaurant, a girl wearing kimono. She was talking to two men who were trying to get her money, but when she had no money to pay, the men said that her clothes look nice, and they started taking off her clothes, at which she taught them a lesson and said that she's a student here. She will neither run away from here nor hide. Come next week to collect her money. This girl's name is Sakuya and she's also in Celia's platoon. We come to know that those men were from the casino, which means that this girl must have made them lose money. She got very bad marks in her exams. Actually, she should study. Sakuya also apologizes to her.
All three of them eat together, the money for which is given by Celia. While having lunch, Leonis asks Sakuya that her uniform looks very different from the school uniform. Actually, these are traditional clothes which her people used to wear. Her entire village was destroyed by the whites. Now, this is the purpose of her life. Eliminate all the whites. Leonis P is another Baudi who wants revenge. Now, two more girls come to Sakuya and ask her for her money which she lost to them. She also asks them to wait till next week. Now from here, Leonis goes straight for her examination. First of all, she is asked to take out her holy spirit to check her holy spirit type. Leonis takes out her demon lord's cloak. She is asked what it can do. Leonis replies that it is a support type, depending on the situation. Alto tells it to be a universal type. There were some robots programmed like whites. When Alto was talking about it, she said that if it is a holy sword support type, then these robots will have to be used to test its power. But before that, Leonis accidentally breaks all of them. She had not even kissed them properly. Alto asked her that you had called her supportive an item. Now slowly a crowd starts gathering there. Alto was looking for a replacement for Leonis's test when Muzail comes there and says that he will be the replacement. And since he's a first-class government official, he can do so. Leonis also says that you can stand in place of this garbage. I have no problem. Muzail gets angry and summons his holy sword. But along with him, his 4 girls had also summoned holy sword. Celia says, you cowards will fight 5 against 1. Muzail says, baby, this is the power of my holy sword. I can control others as per my wish. All these people are my weapons. Leonis had no problem with this either. Celia says, then I will also fight. I am Leonis's guardian. Mel also agrees to this, but there was a condition. If Celia loses, then she will have to come to his platoon. Leonis agrees on Celia's behalf, but if he loses, he will have to stop bothering Celia.
Leonis tells Celia that he will not let his vampiress be bothered by someone like that. The battle begins after Celia chooses her weapon. Celia was already a skilled swordswoman, and now, after becoming a vampire, she has become even more powerful. She single-handedly took on all of Mir's puppets. A girl tries to attack Leonis in vain, but Leonis grabs her legs and knocks her down. Meryl uses the girls as shields and is afraid to fight himself. We also see Regina running towards the examination hall. She is late for her exam due to sleeping too much today, but the sight as she arrives astonishes her. After defeating all the girls, Celia moves towards Meryl, but suddenly loses her holy sword. Using this, he freezes her body. No matter how much she tries, Celia was not able to move herself. Except for Celia, everyone surrounds Leonis. Leonis was about to kill everyone at once, but then he sees Celia's hair glowing. She was repeating only one thing, that she has to protect Leonis in front of everyone. Suddenly, her hand starts glowing in front of everyone. Celia summoned her holy sword and broke Meryl's spell. She broke Meryl's holy sword, and all the girls regained consciousness. Meryl also surrendered. Regina, overjoyed, hugged Celia and said she always believed in her. After reaching Dakar, Celia thanked Leonis, who asked her what she was doing to him. My vessel, Celia asks her what her meaning is to a vessel. Vessel means to protect oneself. Celia is delighted and says she will always protect him. She had a request for Leonis. She wants Leonis to make her stronger, and Leonis wanted the same. When Celia awakens the holy sword,